go back to these two guys. I think there's some risk associated with giving Joey Logano too much advice. He's 19 years old. He's doing a phenomenal job. He wins in everything he sets in. Let him be himself. Did you see how mad he was at Bristol?
He was.
I assure you, he'll take care of it at some point.
He's doing a good job here right now because he's holding Kevin Harvick back there. And I think it's a situation that even though Kevin's car was faster getting up to that point, now he's got a run on him because of the lap car there. 3 wide here.
And going for the lead, but he backs off of it. Joey holds on. You're saying what happened to the competition caution? NASCAR has moved it because of the early caution for John West Townley's spin. They're going to do it now at lap 30. So if you're Kevin Harvick and Joey Logano, there's no real reason to keep duking this out because you know something's coming up that's going to slow you down.
Yeah, but you're racing. You know you're driving. That's you're sizing everything up. You might be back in this situation late in the race when it really does matter.
And later they'll be saying, well, the track changed so much. What I learned early didn't help me later. Right now, Joey Logano, he's coming up on the 56 car of Kevin LePage. That will give us 39 cars on the lead lap. And look at Johnny Sauter going around Trevor Bayne for 12th.
You know, a team like this can really benefit from that success they had with Greg Biffle in those first 4 races. Johnny Sauter, a very capable driver getting in there, and I think they can just build on that momentum and confidence that the whole team has.
On top of that, how big a boost would it be to run as well as they have with 2 different drivers?
Yeah.
Let's get more on the 27, Jamie Little.
Well, they definitely have a solid foundation coming into this race with Johnny Sauter. And the great thing for Johnny is he's worked with crew chief Ricky Byers. They worked together back in 2002, and he said they didn't skip a beat. They went out in first practice, and they could not have been happier. Their goal for today's race is to come out of here top 10 in points. They were 8th coming in. And remember, guys, after this race, the points reset. They said they'll be parking up closer to the action, and they'll get through inspection quicker. Oh, the little things, right?
Oh, yeah. Now, right now, you know, remember, Johnny ran the truck race last night, one of 7 drivers in this race that are doing double duty this weekend here at Nashville. He finished 11th in that ride. So we're getting ready for the competition caution, and the yellow comes out.
Caution's out. Caution's out.
So Joey Logano has led all 30 laps, although Kevin Harvick did give him a run for his money there at that one stretch. It will be Harvick second, Allgaier third, Brad Keselowski fourth, Carl Edwards rounding out your top 5. There is Kyle Busch. He is shown now in the 6th position. Let's get an update on their situation, Dave.
Marty, that's where he started, and they never got that clean air that they wanted. But on lap 21, Kyle did report that the car was a little bit better, still just a little bit tight. They're talking about removing spring rubbers from the left rear to help that race car. For more, let's go to the Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer.
Thanks, Dave. The problem they have there, they run coil-bound springs in the front of the car, so you're pretty much committed to that. You can't manipulate them a lot. But the left rear spring, they'll start with a spring rubber inserted in the left rear that increases the spring rate. But to free the car up, they simply pull that spring rubber out. That weakens the coil up, enabling the car to turn just a little bit better.
All right, thanks, Tim. As we are under this caution, and we can tell you that the 23 is going to get the lucky dog, Robert Richardson. It's actually an early birthday present. He's going to be 28 years old tomorrow, so happy birthday.
Yeah, these guys on that 18, they'll try to make that change. That's a quick thing in pulling that rubber out. If you're obviously inserting it, it takes a little bit more time, but that could cost them a spot or 2 on pit road here. But it's an adjustment they have to make to the race car.
This first stop always tells us who the contenders are, doesn't it?
Yeah. They see the guys that are ready on pit road, and you know, the guys up front weren't really wanting to see this caution because they kind of had things their way.
Well, they're making their way down pit road. Let's send it to Dave Burns.
Jake Seminara, the rear tire changer, will be the guy who will pull those spring rubbers out of there unless they switch it to track bar. We'll keep our eye on that. It'll be a 4-tire stop to try to loosen up this race car for Kyle Busch. Jamie?
Justin Allgaier in the 12 car in the middle of your screen started 3rd. He rolls down pit road in 3rd, needs to free it up a little bit so it'll arc. Better air pressure adjustment, 4 tires, Doc.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Carl Edwards said we are 1 tight, so they're going to make a 1-round track bar adjustment left rear to try to loosen him up just a little bit. Vince.
Joey Logano, your race leader, is loose in and tight in the center. He and crew chief Kevin Kidd trying to decide which was the bigger problem at this point. They're going up on the track bar a half round to give Joey Logano a little bit better entry into that corner.
And as we get our nationwide insurance race off pit road, Kevin Harvick's crew. He's been critical of him in past races. They get him out into the race lead. Keselowski comes out in second. Logano drops 2 spots. Edwards and Busch. Back here at the Nashville Superspeedway as we're in our second caution. This one mandatory. Competition yellow for everybody to be able to check those tires after the rain washed away all the rubber that was laid down on the track yesterday in last night's Camping World Truck Series race, won by Kyle Busch. And, you know, normally we talk about all the excitement being out on the racetrack, but Jamie Little, a couple of these crews had some excitement just getting here.
It was a wild ride this morning. Bright and early ExpressJet is a chartered flight that about 50 crew members were on this morning. They were all kind of dozing off and sleeping when they were struck by lightning. They said that it lit up inside the plane bright red, and actually the plane had 3 holes in it. Everybody was in a panic. Team members from Rusty Wallace's 2 cars, Junior Motorsports, Braun Racing, all involved. They were all bright-eyed this morning. The good news is everybody was okay. They were 10 minutes away from the airport. They were able to land, but that plane cannot fly. They are sending a new ExpressJet to pick up the teams after the race. So it ended in good news, but everybody was a little frightened this morning.
That would get my attention, I guarantee you. Glad that everybody's okay. All right, let's reset some of this for you. We are going to have 3 waiver rounds. Kevin LePage, Eric McClure, and Mark Green. And at the front of the field now, it is Kevin Harvick, Brad Keselowski 2nd, Joey Logano 3rd, Carl Edwards 4th, Kyle Busch 5th, Justin Allgaier 6th, Scott Wimmer 7th, Reed Sorensen 8th, Trevor Bayne 9th, and Paul Menard rounding out your top 10. And again, your prognostication of going to the low side for the restart has paid dividends.
Guaranteed. I'm really curious what this car is going to drive like, because remember, he spent most of those 30 laps tucked in behind Joey Logano. He very well could be free here, huh, Dale?
Yeah, no doubt that the car could be much freer, getting all the air on the nose. And generally with the air pressures down with this tire, that's one thing that these guys were fighting a little bit, too.
Lights are out on the pace truck, so now he'll pull down, and no fake this time. We are going to go back to green flag racing with Kevin Harvick on point. Brad Keselowski side by side. Not quite yet, fellas. Get ready. Now the green flag flies, and we're racing again at Nashville.
It's a really good start by Keselowski.
Yeah, it was. This is a more interesting scenario, I think, with Joey Logano behind Kevin Harvick.
Can anybody say punt? Not going to happen, though. I mean, Joey is not going to jeopardize a good race car, especially in the early going. Boy, Scott Lagacy's going backwards there. You saw him in the 43.
How about that power move, folks, on the outside? Yep. And Keselowski just made a point.
Yeah, I think Kevin Harvick's car is extremely loose on the start with low air pressures here. We saw him struggle a little bit at the start of the race. See Logano getting by him now also.
And Kevin's going the wrong direction fast here.
And when you're sitting in that car, folks, the car uses more front steering wheel when you're behind somebody, and you don't know what it's going to be like out front until you're in that situation in a restart going down into turn 1.
Vince, what are you hearing down in pit road?
Well, Kevin Harvick was not unhappy with his car on that first stint. He said the entry was actually pretty good, a little bit too tied off. But he also told me before the race today that he thought the Joe Gibbs cars were better than his on the restart in the first 3 or 4 laps. He said, but my car seems to be a little bit better on the long run. So we'll keep an eye on that. As you guys noted, Harvick did not get a good restart on that particular sequence.
Well, we had 3 wide there for a second.
Yeah, and another thing about that is those are sticker tires, brand new tires that they put on there. The tires that were on at the start of the race had qualifying laps on them, so they were scuffed in. So I think that's probably a big difference that he's finding right now.
Another guy that's having his hands full right now is Carl Edwards. Left side of your screen right there. Reed Sorensen has gotten around him.